So, it has been a crazy year. We have had a pandemic. We have seen the deaths of many celebrities. We have cried the death of Eddie Van Halen and Neil Peart from Rush. I was very sad indeed. But I'm going to tell you that the pandemic also brought me a chance to get myself better at what I do. To do music for fun, not for money, for fun, for the art. Art for art itself. Well, I like experimenting and I like to plan a lot my experiments. For example, the latest one that I did just came to my mind about playing music primitively with the useless stuff that's laying around my house, like an old guitar that I rescued from a seashore, and keys and toolboxes. There's one where I play an old djembe, and well, here now I have listed the instruments I use on each song that I uploaded. Then there's the other two Materia Grezza projects that I have done. The first was Savory, which was a brief deep at jazz, only 3 tracks. Sorry. And then there's Forever, that is the album where I sing. I say that I'm more satisfied than my first release that was back in 2019 that I called Raw Files. Forever was a concept album about I think about loneliness. I was inspired by an old building that looms in my neighborhood, and I hope that building collapses one way or another. Then I talk about my chromosome stuff. The last project I've done in 2019 was a chromosomes album that was called Sunset Resort, and from that day, I have collected many samples from various sources, jingles of radio programs, of news broadcasts and weather forecasts, the old video games, even terrible ones like Kung Fu, the one that the Angry Video Game Nerd reviewed, or the Zelda CDI games had the cool music to sample, and I also... Yes, my neighbor it's very noisy. Where was I? I said radio stuff and television stuff and old music. I've done a very big fetch of all the material I could find, to the point that I had too much material that I had to divide into categories, and that division in categories has brought me to do the past perception saga, I called it. The first 3 chapters, televisor, video games and tapes. The first one with the television jingles and stuff, the second with the video games. My most favorite is the Martian Settlements, which samples the FM Towns Marty boot up. That was a very old Japanese CD-based console. Actually, Oceanos is my favorite track from that project. Then there's the tapes where I took varied music that you could listen on tape. And then there's the little extra AM radio that I put together because there was not much radio jingles that I could sample into Vaporwave, and also the one in Russian that sampled the old video games that I mentioned earlier. It was Bad Natsvania, I think it's pronounced like that. It's very darker than the rest. I even used as the album cover an old cartoon about pollution to set the tone. As chromosomes, I also did new past perception with even more material I had found that I deem suitable for sampling. And as chromosomes, I did a Here's a little story. On September I got Staphylococcus. I thought I was going to die because I believed I had COVID-19. It wasn't, fortunately. And that inspired me to do a very dark and emotionally charged sampled album. And that was called, I don't know why, Redemption. Maybe because it ringed really good. And that was the stuff I did as chromosomes. Then ZFSID, ZFSIID. That was the noise project that I had resurrected. That was the first album. That it was all stuff I did out of boredom on Audacity. It was very heterogeneous. Then there was year 2019, which was an absurdist view on the year yet to come, because it was uploaded on 2018. Like, it had very absurd titles like Giraffe Milk and Spaceship Crashed Again and Flying Cruise Ships of the sort. Then I went back to this project and I charged it with even more absurd stuff. With the first, it's for the third Roman numeral and the ST like in first. Even the title is absurd. And I did that with even more samples. ZFSID, I called it Audacity Shitpost, if you allow me to say that. Then there was 4.0, which is based on the concept of an AE that talks over a monotone drum loop about things it has learned from the modern internet. And actually, I didn't plan any of the lyrics for that. I just took notes of what happened recently. I nodded to some conspiracy theorists, just for fun. Current memes, older memes. It was a fun experience because I only had the notes and my head was inventing lots of the lyrics. Some were just incoherent gurgling, incoherent words just spewed out monotonely into a microphone and vocoded. And this is the final ZFSIID album. There will be no more. But Chromosomes is going to go on, Materia Grezza is going to go on. I will experiment with jazz, I will experiment with grindcore like I did with Necrotic Disease and Virulent Pyramid Disease. I just laughed at the thought of it because I just couldn't stop laughing while playing the guitar and doing the vocals for the VPD album, the one with the I'm actually tearing out of my eye. Just doing the I haven't planned any of that. But there will be a second album, I promise. There will be a new Materia Grezza concept album. And yeah, I think there will be more projects for the future. But what they always say, quality is better than quantity. I'm going to take my time with them. I'm going to get new material for doing that. I'm actually upgrading my gear. I have a better sound chip, I have a better guitar, I bought an 8-string, I bought an acoustic 6-string. 2021 is going to have new surprising stuff that I'm going to not announce just to contribute to the surprise factor. There are going to be many surprises, many unexpected genres I'm going to do. Well, all in all, it's going to be another fun year. I hope this situation sorts out, the COVID-19 pandemic goes away. All in all, I'm tired of talking. I'm going to just spend the night drawing, painting actually. Well, Materia Grezza signing out. By the way, this This is a copy of the Impious album, that one Impious Creation of Profanity cassette that I found. Just, who are these Impious guys? I want to know.